And we're live. Hello, hello. We're going to go over some of the weekly news and market moves. It's been an interesting week in crypto. There was a pretty big pullback in Bitcoin and even more in the rest of the markets. Now, I know it's easy to be afraid of what's happening, but we want to take a step back and find out what's going on in the bigger picture. So let's start off with some news by Star Platinum, great creator. Planet Mojo is shutting down all games on July 1st, so a month from now, Mojo Melee, WWA, and the rest of their titles will no longer be developed. Now, I wasn't really familiar with this game or producer of Web3 games, but this has been a pattern in the last few weeks where a lot of Web3 games have been shutting down. So I'm not familiar with all of these, but you can see at the bottom of this list here, quite a few have shut down, and there are a lot that are going to shut down very soon. Some big names too, at least that's according to this person in their own opinion. It could even be Illuvium, which raised a lot of money. Uh, Gigaverse, which hasn't even launched yet, so I don't know if that's actually going to happen. My Neighbor Alice, which I remember from years ago, they were building. They took years and years to launch this thing. And the problem is, a lot of these Web3 games just aren't good. They're expensive to run. And yeah, if no one's playing it and generating revenue, then they're not going to make it. So this is a very strong criticism from this person because, in their healthy tier, they have um, Axie Infinity, Sandbox, Maple Story, which are well known. That's it. It's healthy or worse or not at all. They got Pirate Nation, which has been profitable for them. I think they've been making money. They have been making enough revenue, and they have been burning tokens. That's something I'm still watching. Off the Grid was really good, except for their token. Big Time. I don't know what happened with that. This is like that Guardians game. I did a sponsored video for them for a while. I played the game for a while, but you grind for a while, then it's pay to play. So then it's not the best experience. GM Stark, GM Kosher. Where are you guys watching this from? I am in Taiwan. It is GM. It is good morning. It is 11 a.m. right now. And yes, that's the problem with Web3 games. They are one of the most riskiest investments. Axie Infinity, probably the most successful based on the amount of money they raised, which was like less than $2 million to kickstart things. And then a lot of these other projects raised significantly more than that with worse results. So yeah, Web3 games, it's going to be tough. I think we are going to have GameFi Summer though, because the Solana Play and the Sui Play are both launching this summer. And yeah, the names, they did not really go with a unique name, which is all right. But they're both very different devices. So I'm going to bring that up right now. So this is the Play Solana. So Play Solana. And it looks like a Game Boy. So yeah, you got your controls there. I did pre-order this, so I have one coming in. Looks like a fingerprint sensor on the back, so maybe it's also part crypto wallet. You need your ID to confirm transactions, move your NFTs around, and this should be releasing this summer. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we're going to have GameFi Summer again, but obviously with all these GameFi games, you don't want to be in it for a long time. A long time is a bad time. A short time is a good time. You want to get in there, make your bag, and go. So the other device we have is the SweetPlay 0x1. I have also pre-ordered this device. I have 3 of them. They are sold out at the moment, and people are reselling them from eBay. Now, I don't know how legitimate that is. That could be a scam. There isn't really a way for us to trade pre-orders at the moment, but they didn't ask for my address. So maybe once that happens, we just, all the pre-order people just put the address of the person that actually buys it off them. So that could be a secondary marketplace for that soon when that launches. And there have been some different GameFi infrastructure launching on Sui and other platforms. So I think this summer will be interesting for GameFi, at least for a few months, because when it has all that attention, that has the most potential. So that is where we're at. We got a couple other news articles. I got a bunch of tabs we're just going to go through. So this is the criticism of Web3 games. And Mega ETH's account got hacked. So this is on Twitter. I think it's been recovered already because the hacker was posting a Soul Coin scam coin, which is hilarious. Yeah, it's funny because this is Mega ETH. You didn't launch on an L2. You did not launch on any kind of EVM. You launched it on Solana, which raises a big red flag when you're promoting a Solana scam coin on Mega ETH. So here's the breakdown. Hack. I'm gonna make this a little bigger for you guys. Hack Mega ETH's Twitter. Hack the CEO's account too. God mode unlocked. You basically have the full trust and support of these accounts, and you could scam millions potentially. They decide to shill a Solana meme coin on an ETH L2 account. So if you're not familiar with that, that is like two different systems. Let's say you hacked Microsoft and you said, hey, we're launching a MacBook. Buy this thing. So, it's a completely different ecosystem, raises a lot of red flags, and as it should, and they made less than $20,000. Now, if you're following Mega ETH, you're probably very deep into crypto already, so this would not be a scam for new users. So, yeah, if you're a scammer, don't learn more. Please do not learn more because these red flags are obvious to most of us. And yeah, you can see in the photo here, Mega ETH, the next chapter, the Solana expansion initiative. And yeah, they have this very cheap AI drawing with Solana logos on it. And in other news, I thought this was very interesting. Ross Ulbricht, who was known for the Silk Road, who made the platform for people to trade stuff in a decentralized way, but mostly people used it for drugs and other illegal stuff. He got out of prison very recently. He was pardoned. All of crypto was behind that. I support that because he went to jail for making the platform. So that's kind of, in a way, saying like, hey, these guys robbed a bank. Arrest the guy who made the gun, or arrest the guy who made the car, who made the getaway car. So he just kind of provided that platform, and he's the one who went to jail for that. Now, his ID just sold for $1.1 million. Now, Ross, a lot of crypto people have been a big fan of his, and they've been supporting him through Bitcoin purchases. So Ross Ulbricht has been selling some of his items to raise funds since he got out of jail. And I support that, but not enough to buy anything because I can't compete with this type of money. So yes, Ross Ulbricht's ID card went for 5.5 BTC. I don't know why in this post it says the winning bid was 11 BTC. It says 5.5 here. His prison notebook sold for 1 BTC. His other prison ID card for 1 BTC. So he's coming back. I'm glad he got out of prison and he has a lot of support and he's making some Bitcoin. So good for him. Ross prison locker lock. That one is a stretch. 0.11 BTC for that. Not a lot of memories there. Pre-arrest backpack, which I think would have been a little more interesting if it keeps the items in there. Pre-arrest drum. I don't know how to say that. I'm gonna say that wrong, and that's all right. Prison sweatsuit and t-shirt combination, 0.51 BTC. So yeah, you get a little bit of Ross's authentic scent on there. The pre-arrest sleeping bag at 0.04 BTC, and all these items, I guess, would be signed. So you have a piece of crypto memorabilia. So those were the bids for auctions related to Ross. And in other Mega ETH news, that they had the Mega Mafia. This is the second cohort of their accelerator. 3 locations, 15 teams, 1 mafia. So Mega ETH has been building, and they make pretty good apps. They make apps that you actually want to use and they are intuitive. So it might be something to look at. And the first round gave us Noise XYZ, where you could trade trends. That is still gated, so I couldn't actually test that out. GTE XYZ, the world's fastest decentralized trading venue, backed by top institutions, market makers, and you. I haven't used that either. Cap Money, still in its early stages. So whenever you have these new platforms or whenever you have these new blockchains, they're going to launch with some featured applications, and this is an opportunity to bring in people into their ecosystem and potentially get some airdrops to new users. So if you are looking for airdrops, ViniX says, what are some of the top airdrops on Sui? Actually made a video of that recently. There are some new projects coming out of their Sui Overflow hackathon. I think that's going to be announced in the next 2 weeks, and those might be the projects to get involved with. I'll have an updated video on that. I actually participated in that with a AI NFT platform, which isn't that bad. And I'll share more if I get shortlisted into that hackathon. So here we go on the Mega Mafia. When we launched Mega Mafia a year ago, our thesis was simple: the space is oversaturated with infrastructure, and there are very few are actively focusing on accelerating what really matters: apps. This is absolutely true. You see the same apps on every blockchain, and no one's going to trade. Well, actually, you shouldn't trade every day unless you are kind of a degen. And regular people just want something to use casually. So what's available for these regular people, right? So enter Mega Mafia, a program built on in-person reps, shared experience, an intense focus from going from 0 to 1. These are the ingredients to not only build a cohesive eco of net new apps, but for founders to reach their full potential and compound that success over cycles. So I am glad that there is a blockchain actually focused on building something and incubating these different ideas. So there is some potential there. This isn't sponsored or anything, but this is a platform and ecosystem I have been watching. So Mega Mafia 1.0 proved the model. Over $40 million raised, surpassing that of Mega itself, because I think they only raised $20 million for the platform, and it's backed by very reputable VCs who aren't really known for dumping: Franklin Templeton, Robot Ventures, Maven 11, Figment Capital, and more. So builders will explore the frontier of performance with the Mega Core team. All right, so it goes on. There is an application process, and if you are a builder and want to build something different, Mega ETH is probably what you should be looking at. And then we have WorldCoin. So there is quite a few things that happen in WorldCoin, and I'm probably going to make a full video out of that, or this video, because people in Taiwan have been talking about WorldCoin because they get about $60 for signing up. And they have 3 physical locations in Taiwan, in Taipei, where you can get your eye scanned and you get $60 in crypto. That is about 2,000 Taiwan dollars. That's quite a bit of money. That's like 20 breakfasts. If you're eating locally, that's 20 different breakfasts you could get. So that can add up. Let's we got a comment here. Dog or cat? Oh, dog or cat or buddy or boot, etc. Useless coins I sell recently, make good money. Thanks for your video, but sell always. Yeah, a lot of these meme coins are short term. Very rarely can you hold long term and make money in crypto unless you're looking at something like Bitcoin or Sui. You look at these things that are building over time. And even in the Sui ecosystem, you're not holding anything that continuously goes up. There's a lot of different things you have to look at, and things can change. So you kind of want to bet on these bigger narratives. All right, so WorldCoin, Time Magazine featuring the orb, which I thought was interesting because, as we know from being in crypto, if you are on Time Magazine, you're doing crime. Crime, time, crypto. That's just the 3 things that are very that are associated with each other that you can kind of expect, and they are kind of going for style. I don't really get it though. So you can see this is the Instagram page of the WorldCoin page. Yeah, they're just called World here, not WorldCoin. I guess they are trying to disassociate from the crypto side of things, but it's really crypto and blockchain behind the scenes, of course. And, they're trying to make it a vibe. And there are a lot of sponsorships that they have been creating. They have a Web 2 presence, they have physical locations. So I think they're going to do all right. The coin, terrible. The coin price, coin action, awful. Their DeFi ecosystem, also bad, but growing. And that might be where the opportunities are. I don't think the WorldCoin price stands a chance at the moment. It might in the short term, but for better gains, you might want to get in their ecosystem. But the problem is, to get into their ecosystem, you have to get your eyes scanned. I downloaded the app. I tried to sign up. I could not access any of their apps unless I scan my eyes. So if this video gets, I don't know, 100 likes, let's make it very reasonable. If this video gets 100 likes, I'll get my eyes scanned and go into the app, look for those opportunities. Otherwise, you're kind of locked out of their ecosystem unless you go full DeFi. So you can kind of see they are going for the vibe here. They partnered with like international influencers trying to really sell you the aesthetic, the style of WorldCoin, which has nothing to do with the actual product. Now, I thought it was interesting that Adam Conover, who calls out scams, who hates crypto, went to the WorldCoin event in San Francisco. He asked them questions, and it was a paid promotion, and he acknowledged that, and he got grilled online for it. So yeah, Adam Conover ruins his own reputation. It got quite a bit of views, and you can kind of see that he does say it was sponsored. I just want to share what they're doing. He got the bag, but then Adam, he had a reply video to his own thing, why I became a crypto shill. So he has this 23-minute video talking about the situation. He didn't take the money, and he just wanted to see if he could get away with getting a bag without actually having promoting anything. But the internet called him out on that. He got a lot of shit from it. So he's like, I'm not taking the money, and I want to give my real opinion on what it's doing. So you got to give him that he backed out, didn't take the money, and now he's talking crap about it, which is fine. But honestly, WorldCoin is actually doing really well for a crypto project compared to others, just because they do have an actual Web 2 presence, they have physical locations, they have a lot of users, but of course there's going to be a lot of criticism behind that. Let's see, got a couple of other comments. Colescan, what do you think about this coin on the virtual ecosystem? Virtual coins rarely last. There are a lot of different KOL related crypto projects, and yeah, that's a tough one. I'm panicking and bullish at the same time. It's strange. Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens when we have these huge swings. I know Bitcoin only went down like 6%, but the rest of the market went down like 30%. So yeah, it doesn't feel euphoric yet. Highly monthly close for BTC, but crypto Twitter is bearish. Yeah, we're gonna get into that in a moment. There was this really great article by Stock Money Lizards who kind of lines up the macro and what we should be bearish about and what should we be bullish about. So we'll get into that in just a moment. And yeah, I might get my eyes scanned just because I'm interested in what they're doing, and they have one of the biggest Web 2 presences out there. So yeah, on Time Magazine, which I'm sure you could pay for, WorldCoin launches in Taiwan, which that is easy. I looked on the app. I could get a appointment today to get my eye scan. So there doesn't seem to be any demand for it. They have 3 locations. Appointments are readily available, and I'm not sure if they actually onboard people or if they send any like cash to crypto services, which they should, just because they already got the retail space for it. So I am watching WorldCoin. I'm watching what they're doing. Coin price, not too exciting, but there could be opportunities in their ecosystem. You know, people are getting $60 worth of WorldCoin to scan their eyes. They're either going to cash it out or they're going to buy stuff in that ecosystem with it. And this is what the apps looks like if you scan your eyes. If you don't scan your eyes, you don't have access to see any of these apps. So yeah, I think they have a couple million people who actually scan their eyes and have access to this within the WorldCoin app. And this is what one of the locations look like in Taiwan. One of 3 locations. Yeah, just a scan thing, 2 TV screens, couple crypto bros outside. That's it. Now let's get into this article by Stock Money Lizards, who really broke down the macro really well. And we're going to look at some bearish news. We're going to look at some bullish news. So I see influencers saying, I sold all my Bitcoin today. Everywhere. The narrative is getting loud. So that's why, you know, people are getting bearish. People are getting nervous. I took a deep dive watching some important indicators that the RSI divergence on the weekly looks like the double top in 2021. So, you know, if you have a double top, you'll be peaked, could go down. Divergence looks scary on charts, but I actually went back and checked every single RSI divergence in Bitcoin's history. Want to know what I found? This thing has been dead wrong most of the time. And what really matters are active addresses. This is the metric nobody talks about, but should be watching closely. Active addresses shows you who's actually using Bitcoin, not just trading it, but moving it, holding it, believing in it. So we're looking at the active addresses here, and it has been going way up over time as institutions start adopting Bitcoin, putting Bitcoin on their books. So that is pretty bullish. Now let's talk about MVRZ. Now, I'm not a tech guy, I'm not a charts guy, so a lot of this doesn't mean anything to me. I just want to know what our sentiment is, so we're going to skip right to the end, and we're jumping down other indicators, a lot of positive stuff in general, but let's go to the recap. Bearish, the RSI divergence on weekly, but wrong 75% of the time historically. And if it's wrong 75% of the time, that should not be an indicator. Some influencers selling or going bearish. Usually this is not really bearish. Again, not a great indicator. From myself, I am taking a pause off of the altcoins until we have that momentum. Short-term correction after new all-time high. Bullish, active addresses still at 2.8 million, no capitulation. The something, massive institutional ETF inflows, strategic reserves and corporate adoption, multiple Fibonacci support levels intact, still above major macro support zones. So the score is 1 bearish versus 6 bullish indicators. The conclusion, this honestly does not look like a bear market. It's a normal short-term correction after hitting new all-time highs. Yeah, this is new all-time highs for Bitcoin, not new all-time highs for altcoins, but you know, if the market keeps pumping, there is going to be at least some sort of alt season for the cryptocurrencies that can still get attention. Sure, we will need to reassess if the retracement goes deeper, but for now, nothing to worry about. While everyone's panicking about one indicator that's been wrong most of the time, every other metric is screaming continuation. Stay focused on what matters, not the noise. So I thought that was a great review of the market and macro conditions of Bitcoin investing. Obviously, if you're investing in other coins, you're playing against a lot of different factors of the team selling, VCs selling, no usage for their product. So, you know, that makes altcoins kind of dangerous. And when Bitcoin pumps, that kind of sucks up all the liquidity. And then after that, maybe it starts flowing into ETH and maybe some altcoins. And once ETH starts pumping, that's when we have altcoin season. And that's just what's happened historically, in my opinion, because we can't guarantee these things. So it might be something to watch out for. So let's go over some comments. Let's see. Fainta, what do you think about that? June 3, they're launching on Binance. I also got coins in the airdrop. Did they? Would they have announced that they're launching on Binance? Binance normally keeps that a secret unless they were in the launch pool or something. Let's take a look. We got some time here. We're going to go into Twitter. We're going to search up this coin. Probably this one. This one with the gold check mark. Building the leading Web3 professional network, 4 million users. Followed by a few apps I know, backed by Animoca Labs, which they invest in a lot of things and they make money. But most of the people that follow them, not so much. Just, okay, so they did announce they are coming to Binance, mark your calendars. And I think they launched this way because they give a large supply to Binance. So if it's something they can trust, yeah. As for the token, I don't know what they do. Let's find out. We're going to use our buddy Grok here for the easiest research ever. What is, and I like to add crypto project in simple terms because sometimes it gets confused if it's a name that overlaps with something else, even if you use the @ sign. So BondX is a Web3 professional network platform, often described as a decentralized version of LinkedIn. Oh man, SocialFi. Oh, that always doesn't do well. It connects job seekers, recruiters, and companies in the crypto, blockchain, and Web3 industry. Users can earn BDXN tokens to bond. Okay, yeah, I get it. There's been quite a few other platforms that have done this with limited success. What platforms are like this? So we're gonna, find out who the competitors are. That might have been a better thing. Braintrust. I do remember Braintrust from a few years ago, and yeah, they did the same thing. A decentralized talent marketplace connecting freelancers. Canwork, Gitcoin. Yeah, that one's still around. LaborX. Not familiar with that. Lens Protocol. I mean, yeah, kind of. It's more of SocialFi, but yeah, there's a few platforms that already do that. If you're getting an airdrop, take it. If you think there's going to be a short-term pump, go for it. Long-term, good luck. Long-term, I'm out. That's not something I'd hold on to long-term. Here we go. I pre-ordered Play Solana, but passed on SwePlay 0x1, but I'm feeling some regret now that it's sold out. I'm wondering if you think gaming on Sui can be a legit rival to Solana in the future. Absolutely. So these are two different products. The Sui Play is more of a Steam Deck where it can play these Web 2 games. It can play games from the Steam store. It can play other games. It's pretty much like a tiny gaming computer. So it is able to play a lot of different games, while the Play Solana clearly doesn't look like it has that same type of power, and it's more for simple games, something like a Game Boy. So that would be the key difference between the two. But, if we're playing something casual, you don't really need all that power. So there will be different strengths and weaknesses between both of those. And if you're early, definitely a lot of airdrop opportunities there, as new games are going to try to get your attention by providing you free money. So that's just what we've seen in the past with the Solana phone, and very likely we'll see that again with these gaming devices. And I think with the Sui Play, they've announced quite a few different airdrops where a lot of it is already covered. So if you bought early, congratulations. If you didn't buy, there will probably be opportunities in the secondary market when they make trading it available. RWA, yeah. Not a lot of action in the RWA space. Ever since Ohm collapsed, I think the confidence in RWAs and institutional adoption to pump people's bags have really gone down. So let's take a look at Mantra, and then we'll take a look at the sector. Yeah, that's just been down only ever since that big market dip. It just keeps dipping. So they have unlocked. They are exiting. And I'd say this project's over, but if we look in the RWA sector, real world assets, let's see what's been doing well. So we're going to look at the 30-day Zebec network, which questionable. They've done questionable stuff in the past. Oh man, why are they doing so well? But again, a small supply, fully diluted. Wow. I remember finding them quite I think last year, and I was staking and it was such a bad platform. There was some hype about airdrops for getting in their platform. I didn't get the airdrops. I exited. That was probably like November. So I probably exited here, and that one really pumped. So in the last month, it's gone up 350%. And if we look at the markets here, it is in quite a few markets. They've been around for a while. Volume is a little low, but yeah. Oh, here's the market cap, 459, fully diluted, 580. So what's that? Oh yeah, 80% of the supply is circulating. All right, maybe that's something to look into, because I remember they had some Visa card. They were using that for payments. But now is it overvalued, undervalued? I don't know. Maple Finance Syrup has been killing it in the last month too, 108%. Brooklyn, smaller market cap at 38 million, 55%. Soil Asset Mantle Quant Propi. So yeah, in the last 30 days, RWA, not too bad. Not too bad. Might be something to look into if these aren't exit pumps. Hopefully, we've seen that steady growth there. So I might take a look at that because we want to ride those trends, or we just hold Bitcoin and relax. Can you talk about soulbound tokens and examples, please? Oh, that's easy. Soulbound token is a token that is received to your wallet. People can send these out. You can make them too, but you can't delete them. You can't, well, actually, sorry, you can delete them. You can't move them. These are non-transferable. So it's a non-transferable asset that you receive. So you can get it, but you can't move it. And these are used to maybe represent your wallet history. Maybe you were like an early user to a platform, you get a soulbound token, and that just represents like maybe in airdrops in the future where they want to reward people that were there early, they look for that soulbound token. Since it's non-transferable, they know that you were one of the early users and you didn't take that token from somewhere else. So that's essentially soulbound tokens. They're tokens that are non-transferable. Bearish trend continues if Bitcoin closes below 74,000. Yeah, if it goes under 100, I want to start holding more cash. Right now, it's I think around 104. So let's take a quick look. As of today, 104.2. But yeah, we did have that. I mean, it really doesn't look that bad. If we're looking at the 1 month chart, that is like a pretty healthy pullback. We just went from like 111 back down to 104. It's a 6% drop, but over the month, it's been pretty good. So I wouldn't be too bearish yet unless we have like these big dips again. Then that makes you nervous. Yeah, that's a crazy pump though. Yeah, we went from 74 back to 111 in just a month. Hello, Crypto Bull. Has Bitcoin decoupled from altcoins? I think it's kind of always been that way, where Bitcoin does its own thing because a lot of more people hold it. It's not as traded, and it's something that doesn't rely on news. Where you have these altcoins, they rely on news and people talking about it. Bitcoin, a lot less. Need airdrops for Sui Play? Yeah, that's happening. I think someone's tracking a list on that on crypto Twitter. I think the current value is a couple $100, while the actual device is like 550, but there could always be more when it launches this summer. Both the Sui Play and the Solana Play are launching this summer. What's the difference between the Play Solana and the Solana phone? Play Solana looks like a old Game Boy, just a tiny little handheld device that I'll bring up here, while the Solana phone is an actual phone. It plays it downloads apps, it holds wallets, your private keys are on there, so it's just a physical wallet, which makes sense. Instead of having like a Ledger or a Trezor, you just have your Solana phone, and that also supports EVM stuff too. So again, we look at Wave 2, I think that's what they call it, Play Solana, and little handheld Solana Game Boy. Ordered the Sui Play. Do I have to do anything to get the airdrops? Nope, you just hold it. it goes directly to your wallet. You and Yeah, it's a little confusing if you um, are not familiar with the object system. So Sui uses objects, and with these objects, they can receive assets. So let's say you have an NFT, they can airdrop other coins directly to that NFT as an object. If someone else has that NFT, those objects are still attached unless you claim them. So if you have the Sui Play, then you got airdrops. They're in your account. You don't have to do anything. Just relax. It's all good. Also, Plume has huge potential on RWA. Are they live yet? I've been seeing a lot of news about them, but I don't know if that's been live. Oh, they are live. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, yeah. So they've been live since January. Coin price not too bad since the launch. $270 million market cap, 1.3 billion. 20% of the supply circulating out of 10 billion. Again, it's kind of an ecosystem that gives you access to all these different RWA platforms that are building there. Some might be multi-chain. Something to definitely look into. As for the coin price, I don't know. Maybe more opportunities on the actual RWA products. The top in July, that is hard to tell. People are saying that Bitcoin could pump to 150K in the summer, maybe hit 200 by mid next year, but no one can tell. Everyone is honestly guessing. Everyone's going to give you very good and detailed reasons, but we're all guessing. We want to be right, and if we're right, we're not going to shut up about it. But it's very rare. It's very rare for that to happen. Where's the top on Solana? I don't know yet, but Solana is really good at onboarding new users. So if we go into a bull market, they have really good reach. So they are one of the best platforms for onboarding new users to speculate in meme coins. So as for the top, I don't know. It's hard to predict these things. You don't want to bet against momentum. You want to ride it. That's just what you do in crypto investing. Any microcaps that might have good potential, that is a tough one because this video, it's tough. It's tough because people might see this video a couple weeks later and microcaps could collapse at any moment. So you want to really be short term with microcap trading. I don't really mention too many on Twitter, but I probably should more often of what I'm doing in the space just to gain attention. Because that's another thing, just managing all that. I'd say join the Discord. We could chat about that, where sometimes I talk about these things that might do things in the short term, because that's a lot easier than making a video and then someone sees it 3 months later and is like, well, that collapsed. I was like, yeah, these are short-term trends. You kind of have to ride the news and momentum when you are crypto investing. Have you been participating in the Genesis launches? I believe you're talking about virtuals. I have not. I think because they're very risky. You can make money, but yeah, I'm not staking anything. I'm just writing that out. But I might. Maybe we'll do a DGen challenge. I think that might be fun, where we look at where all the action is in crypto and we see how we do, and we just ride these terms short trend every day. That is a good idea. I do want to do that. We're going to do a 100-day trading challenge. We're going to jump into Genesis launches. We're going to jump into meme coins, but it's not something you should follow. It is something that should be entertaining. So that is a great idea. Let's do that. Starting that up, join the Discord, follow me on X, where I'll do 100 days of tweets, all with this DGen stuff. Let's see. Does we have any GameFi or play to earn? They do. They do. I think Super B team or Super B. Let me always forget the exact name because there's too many names in crypto where everything sounds the same. Super B, which also sounds like superb, which just means yes, it is good. It is excellent. It exceeds expectations. So this is a battle royale game. I think there's some footage here. We'll try to find some. They were at Sui Basecamp, and this would be one of their play to earn games. I don't exactly know how, but it is. And yeah, this will be something I'll be looking at once I actually get the device. But you can play it right now. You can download the game, you can play it, and they're doing their test net. So I think you get an airdrop for that. And I don't know how valuable it will be, but if you are playing, that is an opportunity. So how to get some sweet airdrops? Actually, yeah, I'd say that last video I made, we're gonna go to the Sweet Overflow uh, demo in 2 weeks once they launch. Those are a lot of new projects that are looking to build their communities, and that's when you can be earliest. What will you buy in the bear? I'm thinking Sol will be the safest place, safest play. ETH looks like it's been swallowed up by its L2s. There's a lot of momentum for ETH. ETH is looking pretty good. Sometimes it's easier just to buy these bigger ones, just because you can just use a little bit of leverage. You don't take as much risk, and yeah, I am looking at ETH and Bitcoin. I bought some more SWI with this last dip just because, like, all right, well, it went down a significant amount. You can buy a little more SWI. Buy the dip on, I don't know about that one. Let's take a look. We'll jump in real quick. H unhuman rights. You not. That is not a good. That is not a good. That yeah. Okay, I know it says United Nations Human Rights in the actual profile photo, but you know, when you look at the shorthand unhuman rights, that's yeah, I don't know if they thought about that one, but I did not find the coin in there. So I bought a little bit of virtuals last year. I need another one like that. They had such a good pump that they got a lot of attention. So you know, that's what we talk about when riding the momentum short term, just because all the action is there, and that creates a lot of different opportunities. How was Token 2049, and did you spot some projects with huge potential? So Token 2049 was great. I loved the side events. I love talking to people. The event had a lot of fun stuff. It was very hot outside though, so there was less access to that. The projects there were more for institutional finance, or they were exchanges. So it was kind of not the best opportunity for retail users. It was a better opportunity for people building things, people in the industry, people looking for support or different services. And there was only a smaller section for retail users. There were a lot of panels that were targeting retail users, as far as like, hey, this is our project, this is what we're building. So that had some great conversations, great panels. And I don't know about huge potential. You know, there's a few projects that I have been investing in that I am holding, but they're not doing well. So it's not something I want to risk your funds on, but it's something I believe in. Again, super risky, because a lot of these smaller projects, they only do well if they get attention. Some of them have working products, some of them have revenue. I think they're like incredibly undervalued, but they just don't get attention. Where we see a lot of projects that don't do anything get way too much attention. So that's crypto investing. You have to invest where the attention is, because that's where you make the money. And I still have some of those smaller bags. I'll mention them in the Discord. Will Dot and ADA have a comeback? Yeah. Let me get out of here. I'm gonna say short term, yes. If we have a bull market, short term, yes, because those are available on a lot of exchanges. It's not something I want to hold right now. Obviously, if it pumps like crazy, people are going to use that clip and said, everyone was wrong about Cardano and Polkadot. But, you know, I look for user experience. Are they growing? Is there a good user experience there? Can they onboard more users? Because that's what you have to look at when you're looking at these bigger blockchains that have been around for a while. And if they still have that power, can they draw developers in that build applications that people want to use? Or are they going to the new blockchains? because there's a lot of incentives for people to come into a blockchain, which is way too much. Honestly, it's just way too much. But there's not enough incentives for builders to build the long term, where they build something where users want to stay. Because yes, you attract users, they get an airdrop, but they don't want to stick around because there's nothing to do there or the user experience isn't good. So you kind of have to grow everything at the same time. Because, all right, let's say you invest all your money in builders. Well, no one knows about this project. We have no more money to market or bring in these users to experience that. So yeah, that's why some of these other projects have done much better, like Solana and Sui, just because developers like building there. It's a good experience. They can get started a lot quicker, where they don't have to build out all these different dependencies for a project because they kind of have these easier building blocks. At least that is my interpretation from talking to developers and reading things on Twitter. Where is the Discord link? That is the problem I have. I am terrible at marketing because if you have to ask that, I did a bad job of adding those links to my profile and other places. So I think it's in my last video. There should be a Discord link. And yeah, I got to work on that. I got to work on leaving links places so you can find it. So yeah, link in the description after this chat. Or if you follow me on X, I think it's already on there. Yeah, it's on X. When does the 100X challenge start? That starts today. We start today. I'm going to look at these RWAs. We're going to look at momentum. And obviously, it's not financial advice, but I think it'd be an interesting test of trading momentum and sentiment, because that causes the most moves in crypto. Maybe we do a little shorting. Maybe we track this on Hyperliquid. Maybe we do it through an exchange. Got to figure that out. I'll spend the next few hours figuring that out, because yeah, it should be something easy to track and that you can track on chain to see that these things happened. But if we're like trading meme coins on BNB chain or Sui, that's going to be harder because some of those won't be available through Hyperliquid or exchanges. Hold on, we're going to Dex Screener. And we want to sometimes trade based on where all the volume is, where all the trading volume is. So 4 billion on Solana in the last 24 hours, 1 billion on Ethereum, 804 million on Base, 12 billion on BSC, on BNB chain. Hold on, that's 3 times bigger. That's 3 times bigger than Solana. So there's like some kind of pump that fund there that people are using. Maybe we want to speculate there. Maybe that's a whole different video or series of like, all right, I spent 100 days speculating on BNB chain meme coins. Here's how I did. Day 2, already broke. Hour 2, already broke. But there could be opportunities where you see trading volume. Maybe you make money providing liquidity to some of these platforms, maybe just holding BNB and a stable coin in PancakeSwap or something. But yeah, when you have that kind of trading volume, there's a lot of opportunities there, because now we know where people are trading and what they're trading. So many of us got cooked on ETH this cycle. I want it to crash and burn now. No, we want ETH to pump. ETH pumping is going to create alt season, because a lot of these coins, at least on EVM, are paired against ETH and not against a stable coin. So if the price of ETH goes up, the price of these smaller market cap coins go up as well. So that creates alt season, that creates more interest from retail users, that creates a bull market. I would buy Sui and hype this dip. Your thoughts? Yes, I've been investing in Sui. I believe in it, especially with GameFi Summer this summer. Yeah, with the launch of their gaming devices. Hype. I don't know much about Hype. I don't know enough. I'm not in their ecosystem enough to understand it. I know they do buybacks. I know that a lot of users like it. I know it's accessible and that it's easy to use. maybe I got to really jump into Hype 2 to understand it. I know people are making money just adding liquidity to the hyperliquid pools to make money off liquidations, which I hear is pretty good too. And let's take a look. We'll go into hyperliquid vaults and see what that interest rate is like. 16% for hyperliquidity providers. So I think that's where you make money off the interest, and it's just been going up, which isn't that bad. 17% APR, just about. And we can see some other of the user vaults and different APRs that people are earning here. Scott Phillips Trading Vault, 741%. Hold on, let's take that away. 94 days old. So let's see what this guy has been doing. His current positions: 10x on Tron, Bitcoin 20x, Hype 3x, Soft Short 5x, ETH 20x, Dude 3x. Okay, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. This guy has been very active. He is doing a combination of shorts and longs. Maybe I'll follow this guy. Maybe we just put $1,000 and bet on different people here. So, I mean, if that provides an easy experience for people to invest and follow different strategies, that's pretty good. So maybe we'll do that. How's your AI agent doing? Terrible. That thing died. I think it's very difficult to build as just a creator. Now, I made a coin on Virtuals just as a test to show like, hey, anyone can make a coin. Anyone can add different data to pump up these numbers. And then some people are asking me to build something. So I was like, all right, I'll try building something. So I tried building something, and it was terrible. It's like giving a really shitty report in school where like, all right, well, I think this guy just used AI most of the time. And that's kind of what all these other projects have turned out to be. So I think starting up a project is incredibly difficult depending on your team, experience, and funding. If you're just a regular person, that's very difficult. You're very likely just to launch a coin, try to make money from that, and exit. That's just what people do. But if you're a team, you have to have funding. You have to have people who can develop, who can test out these ideas, who have the time to do this. And that's why a lot of teams have to raise money to build it up. Or maybe they launch something, sell coins to have the funding for that. But if you sell the coins and the price of the chart goes down and people lose interest, you're building something with no users. So it is a pretty delicate balance. Now, I've talked to some other builders in the space who have been experiencing this problem, and I think that's one of the hardest balances where, hey, anyone can build a coin, anyone can launch a coin and get that attention, and most people are just going to exit because that's easier than building something. You build something, you start losing money. It takes longer than you expect. Users leave, users start selling, so you have to beat them to it. So that is the mindset we have to consider when we see these new coin launches. How long can they actually build for? Is that project going to be any good? Because we saw all those GameFi projects, they raised millions and millions of dollars, but they closed down. And that's because it's more expensive to continue running than to operate because they're not making any money. So I think that's how we have to think about it. We're investing in new businesses that can achieve these things, and you want to invest in a business that has resources to do a lot of these things. Now, for this other thing I'm working on with the Sui Overflow project, there's funding for that, which is awesome because if you win, you get funding and you get other support, so it makes it easier to build. So I teamed up with Hoser Mage, who is a developer who has never built on Sui before, but he said it was an amazing experience because the resources were incredibly helpful. So if you don't know Hoser Mage, we've had an interview in Taiwan, in Hong Kong. He builds out AI products. He was a contributor to Eliza in the early stages, Eliza OS, the AI agent. He does a lot of AI, EVM projects, and he's an independent dev and wants to build things. But again, it's like finding the funding, finding the resources. So he's more of a contract developer that works with a couple different projects. Now, his story kind of resonates with me because yes, he is a builder, he wants to build, but again, if you don't have the funding, if you launch a coin too early, if you sell NFTs, they're all very dangerous paths because if the community burns out and lose interest, when you do launch, then you don't have a community. And that is one of the things you need when you launch these things, as you've seen from Loud.io. If you're on crypto Twitter, yeah, you just need noise. Honestly, a lot of these things are short-term noise. So for these real builders, they need to be sustained financially. So there has to be some kind of funding where, hey, they can commit this amount of time to continue building. Otherwise, it feels like they waste their time, they don't make money, and they can't just be doing startups their whole life, especially on the older side. So there is that delicate balance of needing funding, maybe needing to sell coins, different ways to raise money to build a legitimate project. Now, a couple early stage projects that I've talked to in Sui Basecamp were also experiencing the same thing, like Potato Finance. They were looking to win their hackathon, the Pitch Fest, through presenting. They've built an amazing product, but they didn't win the Pitch Fest. I was very surprised. They had the most users, the most potential. I would have given them #1 on there, but they didn't win the Pitch Fest. Now, they wanted to raise money so they could have some marketing, but it turns out the community loves them so much that they don't stop talking about them, so they already have a lot of free marketing. Do you share your portfolio? It's mostly Bitcoin, a little bit of ETH, Bitcoin, Sui, ETH, and then a bunch of other stuff. It's like a pool of gambling. So you got to have your solid long-term bets, and then you have to have your gamble pool. Now, my gamble pool has decreased significantly over the last few months just because a lot of AI agents went to zero or close to zero. So a lot of my bags were in there, but I still believe in AI agents because that's kind of where we're trending. But we have to find the opportunities in the ones that have revenue, that can sustain itself, that can generate users. So that is something I'm looking at, where if I share my portfolio in a video, that could change, but you know, the long-term ones don't change, because the short-term ones are where we gamble. So I guess I'll show you this thing. For the Sui Overflow Hackathon, we did this thing called NFTer, where anyone can make an NFT and you can actually connect your Slush wallet. Now, my developer friend did this in 3 days using the Sui docs because the Sui documents are so good on when you build. So let me bring that up too, because I think you'd be very impressed. Because they added, all right, well, maybe you won't be that impressed, but let's say you are a developer. You could even, they have an AI system that you can ask to make contracts. Make me an NFT contract. You know, I don't know if he did, I don't think he really did it this way, but he kind of used a lot of the building blocks provided by Sui. So I think that's why people like building on Sui, where they have, you know, these different tools and these different things that are already pre-built for you to help you create something. So basic NFT contract, how it works, and there's a lot of documents and resources. Now, one of the things we built for the Sui Overflow thing is like, all right, well, making NFTs is hard. What if anyone can make one from any photo? Now, Hippo is one of the sponsors, so I was like, all right, let's see if we can make a NFT collection for Hippo. So it generates traits with AI, then it turns it into a fancy prompt, and then it creates an image. So we participated. We'll see if we get shortlisted. If you want to follow the community, yeah, just join the Discord, because we were thinking about Homeless DAO, and we were like, all right, well, what if we become the off-brand crypto versions for these NFT collections where, all right, maybe we want a collection inspired by Azuki, but the poor and homeless version, or Azu free. So we're thinking of making something like that. So most of it is good. Most of it is good. Like 87% is pretty solid. So it does a little weird things here and there, and you can see that it kind of puts everything together. Crying, drooling, bandaged ear, which kind of missed. Red hoodie, but generally not too bad. So that is what we did for the Sui Overflow thing. If there's funding where he can actually build something, and I just kind of commit to the creative stuff of making these fun NFT collections, then that can turn into something. Have you seen King Charles meme? It's low key popping off. I think I gotta look that up now. We're gonna go to Twitter, find the King Charles meme, and see what's going on there. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. This one? I'm out of it. I missed it. Someone has to send me a link or tag me on Twitter. All right, Twitter, Discord link if you have. It's invalid. Oh man, I am terrible at this. I gotta update the Discord link. All right, we're gonna update that. So come back next week. Come back next week when links work. Again, I gotta work on that. Please give me a newer microcap that's on ETH network that you believe and the team might have long-term potential. Great discussion point in the Discord when that link starts working. So yeah, which AI agent has real potential? All right, this is one of my small market cap bags. I'm going to shill them just because they've been around for almost 2 years now, and that's AlphaKek. You know, I've mentioned them before. I still like what they're doing. They're building with a lot of different teams. You know, they're working with Pudgy Penguins. They made this thing where, yeah, you can see the Pudgy Penguin. They do their meme generators. So, you know, AI Kek congratulates the Pudgy Penguin community on generating 3,000 memes via the AI Kek Pengu AI model. So they do things where you're a community, maybe you want a meme generator, maybe you want some AI insights, you want some data tracking. All of that is possible with AlphaKek, and they're working really B2B. They're working directly with these different businesses. You can access some of their stuff with their token, through their Telegram, through your own Telegram if you have enough tokens. But, you know, they don't get enough attention, honestly. So that is a tough one. You know, they're working directly with the Pudgy team. They're working with all these high brand teams, but they don't get enough attention. There isn't enough trading volume. So that's a hard thing to determine where, hey, I see what they're building. Their founders have been to GTC where, you know, they speak at these things, but they don't get attention, so the coin doesn't pump. So that is like the thing you have to figure out in crypto. Will it pump? Will there be enough attention towards it? And in a lot of situations, no, unless there is a big influencer behind it. Myself, not really, because I've mentioned them, I support them, but it really needs the pumponomics. You really have to find the people who can pump cryptocurrencies if you are going to bet in something short term. Long term, they're doing all right. I've also mentioned BlockRot in the past before. They're still building. You know, I didn't do any, didn't invest in any that were a rug pull. BlockRot is still building. They're launching their Alias platform. I got early access to it. It's going to be some AI chat bots that are visual. That is also can also be a VTuber. So those are things I'm looking at. But I don't know if you're going to make money or not, just because it doesn't get a lot of attention. So yes, you can like build out your own AI agents pretty easily. You can choose or build out your own avatar, and you can also have VTubers, or you can use them as a VTuber, which I might do for fun. That they reached out to me, so we'll see what happens there. Loud.io is a Ponzi? Yes, I think that's what a lot of people realized. Some of the biggest names in crypto will say anything for free cryptocurrency. So sometimes you have the ones that are like, you know what, I don't shill anything. You know, I got honor and stuff. It's like, oh, free coin? As long as I tweet it, yes, I'll tweet about anything. Yeah, just give me the money. Just give me money right away. So Loud.io, the only thing they produced is noise. They produced a lot of noise, but crypto marketing teams love that too. If you can make something go viral, they're going to look to you for consulting, for ways to generate attention for other projects. So I think even if Loud.io is a flop, the person who developed it or came up with that idea is going to do very well. Now, I don't know who's going to buy the token. I think there's already been a lot of trading volume for it, which is why the rewards have been even higher. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. It's not something I'm investing in, and if you saw my video on it recently, you know why. Hey, yeah, I appreciate that. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to give a thumbs up. Let's see here. I saw Potato Finance is about to launch their NFTs. Would you buy it for the sake of getting an airdrop? Yeah, their project is gonna last for a while. If that NFT isn't like crazy expensive, I didn't buy the Popkins Cleanosaurus one because all right, it's a cute dinosaur, but it's like $200. I'm like, I don't know about that, and I don't know how well it did because they launched like 20,000 of them, so rarity is kind of where it's at when you're buying in the secondary markets. If you have too many NFTs, they get devalued. If Potato Finance is launching one and the price is reasonable, yeah, I'll probably pick one or some up. And it depends on what it looks like too. Because I know they're going to do well after using their platform. And just it's such a good experience that I think people are going to be behind them and back them for quite some time. Ooh, old ones. Any thoughts on eGold or an Algorand? Did EGLD rebrand or is this still something? I think they rebranded to like X or something. Let's see. Multiverse X, yes. So it is X, but Multiverse X. So let's take a look. I mean, I remember I was following them early on. In my comments all the time, people were saying EGLD. And then I believed them, and then I probably was close to the top when I started believing them, and then it dumped as soon as it got out. Now, what they're building is a fast blockchain, so it's another layer one, I believe. Same thing with Algorand. Algorand, they're not good at marketing. They're good at like trashing other blockchains. If you watch their commercials, they love trashing other blockchains. But as for actual users, it doesn't seem like there's much for either of those. So that's a harder investment because you have to bet that they'll do well on the institution side. Maybe they have some big partnerships there that actually use their technology. But for crypto users, the only thing we can really count on is what we see. And if we see adoption somewhere and we see a good product and we see it gaining traction, then that could be an investment. If we don't see any of that and we're just kind of promised things generally, that's a very difficult investment. So that's just my thoughts on Multiverse X, which previously known as Elrond, token EGLD. Let's see. You don't have to reveal any specifics, but have you been able to actually benefit from crypto since you started? And have you been able to withdraw any realized profit on your investments? That is a great question. Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, when it's a bull market and it just kind of pays the rent and stuff. As a Bitcoin holder, that's been the best thing. That's what it is. So that's the hardest thing to learn, patience. Now, the only thing I really learned from investing in altcoins is that it's short term. It's very, very short term. So you have to be looking to exit. You have to be looking to take profits. Now, honestly, it's tough to make money in crypto in altcoins long term because people don't take profits, myself included. I've rode a lot of coins to zero, and it's mostly because I don't like looking at the coins every day. I don't like looking at the news every day just because that's an additional level of effort and stress. And, I don't want to be stressed. And that's what you kind of have to do if you want to day trade or play these short-term investments. You have to really be on top of what's going on in the crypto markets. Now, sometimes very successful, sometimes terribly unsuccessful. With Trump, oh my God, I lost so much on these Trump moves because of leverage and just these surprise tariffs, surprise no tariffs, where maybe you're betting long, maybe you're betting short, and then he just changes the entire market in a tweet. So I've been successful in the past. As of the last few months, terribly unsuccessful. But that's what I've learned. And now that people are talking about Taco, or Trump always chickens out, all right, the markets are starting to move less on his random tweets and stuff. So these bull markets are starting to brew up, especially with other different macro factors. So I think there's opportunity, but again, as someone who wants to be a little responsible, there's limited opportunity depending on how you approach these things. I know a lot of crypto YouTubers are going to tell you 100x, you can make money this way, but that's how they get attention, and that's how they elevate their brand, which I want to do too. And I'm like, that's the easy way, but you kind of have to lie a little or a lot. I was like, so maybe I'll find a more fun way to approach it. And I think if you see my minus 100x meme coins video, it kind of explained that. There was a little minus sign on the thumbnail that I don't think everyone noticed. So yeah, you have to also think, these videos are entertainment. People looking for something want that attention. Now you can tell someone it's a scam, or you can tell someone that, hey, this thing's a scam and stuff, or don't invest in that. But you're not going to grow as a content creator. So you kind of have to, it's a very dangerous balance. So I gotta do things maybe more sarcastically or funny to differentiate, warn, and educate. Hey Dan, any thoughts on bits on Eclipse? It's an ePow backed by Eclipse. All right, so Eclipse, I believe that is the Solana SVM. Let's see how they're doing. What is the token name? Or are they out? Am I thinking about that right? Eclipse. They're not out yet. All right, well, let's check Twitter. Upcoming ESTG. Oh yeah, so they're not out yet. What are your thoughts on bits on Eclipse? So, I mean, anytime there is a launch, there is always opportunities. There's always airdrops to get people involved. And, being early is nice. Bits mining, the ePow commodity token on Eclipse, 0% pre-mined. So this seems like one of those mining games where, like, hey, you dedicate resources, you get these rewards. It's not probably not protecting anything really, especially if it's doing other things. I mean, it looks fancy. I think it's going to trick a lot of people thinking that it's protecting something, that it's securing something, but I think this is just to really get your attention. It's to gain momentum that way, where, like, all right, well, it's the theory that you can mine something without a lot of effort, earn coins, and that's kind of what they're selling you. It sounds a little negative. It's not something I'd invest in. It's something I'd probably mine and look into. But I'd be careful of investing in that long term, because the narrative shifts very quickly. Now, people always think like, oh, I can mine cryptocurrency, I can mine data, I can do all these other things to farm and earn yield. But some of these don't last long term. So just something to consider. I don't have any SWI. At what range should I begin to accumulate? I think now is a great time. I think with the SWI hack, which I didn't get into. I think I lost the bookmark there. Let me see. Okay, but the SWI has recovered the funds. The validators are moving the funds to a multi-sig. So they recovered from the hack minus the 60 million when they're getting a loan from Miston Labs. So I think they're recovering. We have the full SWI chart here. They had this pump up in April, this dip with this last market dip. I think this is a good time to get in. If we kind of take a broader look at the top cryptocurrencies, should SWI be more valued than Cardano? I think so. but Sui is still hard to get. Honestly, it's not an easy coin to get. It's not supported on every exchange. A lot of the smaller ones that support like local banks in Taiwan, they don't support Sui, and you got to do more complicated things to buy that. So I think that's why we're still early. We're not at a stage where Sui is available on every exchange for regular users, while Cardano very likely is. It's more of a legacy coin. And I think there is an opportunity for Sui to catch up to Solana because a lot of people keep comparing it to each other. And, you know, uh, Solana is worth 8 times more. And they're launching physical products. They are getting more developers. So I think there's still an opportunity there. And if we're in a bull market, then it'll do really well. That's just my opinion, of course. And as a sweet bag holder, I'd add thoughts on Giza, Coinbase, and CoinFund Invested, agents that automatically trade your stablecoins for the best yield. That sounds promising. That sounds pretty good, actually. Let's see. We're going to bring that up. I'm going to Coin Market Cap. Go into Giza. Actually, no, we should go to Twitter. I don't think they have a coin yet. All right, so 111 self-driving capital. That sounds pretty fun. Giza token is live. Okay, so they do have a token. Agents enabling user-centric markets. Deploy an agent. 83% higher APR. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I got to see this APR. Fluid 5%, Moonwell, Morpho. All right, hang on. I got to connect the wallet and we'll take a quick look. The site looks nice. The site looks pretty nice. Maybe we see the token price too, because that's what really interests people. How is the token doing? Token go up, everyone excited. Token go down, get away from me. So, oh dang. All right, Giza is up on the month, 72% over the last day, 18%, 6 million in volume, fully diluted at 122, market cap at 7.5 million. We'd have to take a look at the tokenomics and unlock schedule. Pretty low market cap. Let's see, it's on, tier 2 markets, mostly centralized exchanges. So if it is backed by Coinbase, there's always an opportunity there. 122 is a high for fully diluted, but that doesn't matter. 7.5, things can pump very, very quickly. But yeah, if it provides good APR and a good experience, something to watch. We're gonna look into that. I just added a star there. We're gonna look at that. Get more thoughts later because had to dive deeper. What do you think about Layer Edge airdrop going on right now? There are a lot of airdrops. I think people want to get their coin out in a bull market because they don't know if they're going to have another opportunity after that. Building the people-backed internet by turning everyday devices into verifiers. Oh, I don't like it already. I don't like it already. Basically, they're saying, oh yeah, you secure things using your own phone, and that's how you make money. So let's see. That's what my initial impression is from reading that, as I like to read through the things. Amazing website, though. Run a light node. I mean, if you can make money, awesome. Investing, incredibly risky. Where I don't think you need your phone. So yeah, let's see. Edgin officially coming to Binance Alpha. First platform. We're kicking off. We need a breakdown. We're going to go to our buddy Grok here, and we're going to ask him what this is. In simple terms. We love simple terms. We don't need all the tech jargon. While that's loading, will Tau do well? I think in the next week or two, they have this Tau event in Paris. So there could be some big announcements. I saw Tau pumping today, and I'm like, maybe I should get in before the news. Or maybe this is the pump before the news dump. So we'll see. We'll see. AI has always been one of the trending things, so I think they'll continue to grow. Layer Edge is a blockchain project that aims to improve Bitcoin's functionality by making transactions faster, cheaper, and more programmable while keeping Bitcoin's strong security. It uses a technology called optimistic rollups to process transactions off Bitcoin's main blockchain, reducing costs. Is this right? Is this layer edge? This is just a layer 2 Bitcoin. That didn't really match the what I got. So the website really doesn't tell me much. Tapping into devices idle computation. No, man, that's not a lot of power. Like if yeah, layer edge sets people as the foundation for the new internet. I think this is really sounding like Pi Network. Honestly, it's like an advanced version of Pi Network from my brief understanding of what they're trying to sell. Life cycle of a proof on the layer edge network. Protocols use no protocols are building that. At least I don't think so. Let's see ecosystem. Let's be a little no. All right, get started. They support a lot of EVM wallets. Probably Bitcoin too. Let's see. I don't know. I'm not really interested in this one. This is sounding exactly like Pi Network. They take the computation power from your phone to secure transactions, and that's how you make money from it. So yeah, I'd be a little careful of that. Let's see. Did you mint the Espresso NFT? I don't know what that is. Is that Espresso the new blockchain? ES Espresso? If so, I still did not do it. I did not get in on that, but we gotta wrap things up. So I'm gonna speed run these last few comments, and I appreciate everyone being here. Just because we're at an hour 20, and I got to get the rest of my day started. Will Shiba Inu transform into something much better? We will have to talk about that in another time. I have to see what the current updates are. Dan, please tell me you were one of the 10,000. No, I did not. I saw this like I saw it too late. It was like 6 hours after they posted it, and they were already sold out. So when I saw it. So Farcaster launched Farcaster Pro, and I tried to get in on that. I think it was sold out, or I couldn't figure it out if they were. And you bought a subscription to Pro for $120. You got a $600 airdrop and all these other perks. And I'm like, I missed out on this one. So yeah, I really got to post there and get active. You really need social media. Social media is where you can actually make a lot of money in crypto if you're there all the time. Any thoughts on B3? I think that's a crypto gaming one, but not too much. We're going to power through these last few comments. Sorry. Nick, easy comment. Hello, welcome back. Bro, tell me about Loud. Would you apply? No, I would not. I'd probably make fun of it, but I'd still lose out because everyone's louder than me. And it's really bots talking to other bots. And again, you have to be one of the smart followers or have smart followers. And that's kind of gamed. If you look at some of the smart followers, they're following like 10,000 people, and that's too many people. That like, how can you be a smart follower if you are just like follow farming, I have found that if I see a project working with Kaito or other yapping type, I just run from that project because all the influencers are going to drop it on the community at TGE. This is a good comment. This is what I was expecting as well, just because, hey, they're talking about it because they make money. If they stop making money from that, are they going to stop talking about it? Absolutely. And that's what we're learning. That's what we're seeing, because other projects are doing something similar to Kaito, where these influencers or crypto personalities are going there too to earn extra income, and there's no loyalty to the project, and the projects might start saying, hey, we're not making money off this. Infinex did $6 million in investment to get people to talk about them, but Loud.io took all of that away from them just because they took all the attention. And with even Infinex, you can't do much there. I'm really surprised people can even talk about it. Did you go hard on Monad? Do you think it'll make a change in the ecosystem or just another L1? I did not go hard on Monad at all. I know it's a strong community, but it's crazy how strong that community is, because I think they're also farmers. They really bullish on it before you even had a testnet or you could build there, just because of the opportunity of an airdrop. And what I feel like they are is similar to Berachain, where yes, you have this super strong community. They're very active. They're memeing. They're having a good time. But when the project launches and they get their tokens, maybe they leave. Maybe like, all right, I'm out. On to the next one to to shill, to market, to build up, get my airdrop, and roll out. So potentially that is what could happen unless we have really good apps there. Any thoughts on Sui NS? I am bullish on that. Maybe more in another video. I think it's one of the more underrated Mysten Labs project coins. Is there anything special about guns? I think that token has been dropping pretty badly since the launch. Yeah, I think that's what made Off the Grid really bad. I could be wrong unless I don't fully understand the token and what's been going on there. Does it feel like a Ponzi game? I bought a few for a possible ES airdrop. ES. Is that Eclipse? Does it feel like a Ponzi game? I mean, a lot of it is. A lot of crypto is where like, hey, some of it is pay to play. Maybe you get a lot of tokens here, but the founders and other team and market makers, they exit first. So yeah, we'll look into that in another time. Are we in a bear or a bull market or a drunk? I think this is a drunk market for altcoins. It's a bull market for Ethereum and Bitcoin. So yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense to really pick what you think are going to be the winners, what are going to survive, what are maybe going to get users or institutional adoptions. Is six-figure airdrop still possible? No, I don't think so. Honestly, there's so many farmers, there's so many bots that these big airdrops are being, split up between all these different people. And so, if you're not farming it with multiple machines and have that professional setup, six figures is not really possible. So yeah, you might want to look for the smaller opportunities. You might want to look for maybe the ones that are harder to farm. So yeah. Oh, well, but definitely 3-4 figure, very possible. Monad seems much harder to farm. I think you have to be an OG. You have to get those roles in Discord. And yeah, again, bots from all the faucets. Very well said. And that's crypto Twitter, really. It's really hard to gauge because some of the comments seem so generic where like, is this a bot or not? You can only tell if they're saying a lot. Isn't he arrested? I don't know the current situation. So it's not something I think will do well. I know they have a strong community, which is great, but no one's building there. It's hard to get attention. How sweet. I believe in them long term. All right. Last comment. Thanks, Dan. I am the best. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. Last comment here. Earning 72% interest on wall tokens deposited on Sweeland. What is the reason it's so high? So there's a pool of tokens allocated to Sweeland for rewards, for staking. I know you can stake directly to Walrus and you get a smaller percent, but since Walrus is a new token, I think they allocated a certain amount to Sweeland, to Scallop, to Navi, to provide an interest for people staking their Sui there just to get more use cases out of the other taps. So that's why it's probably 72%. Maybe it's different depending on when you look at it, because maybe that pool of funds keeps shifting depending on how many deposit, how many withdraw, and against other pools that also have an allocation of rewards. So that's generally how that works. Pi doesn't really use the phone. It's just decentralized and fake mining. I mean, when you're mining off your phone, that power isn't securing anything. That is if it's like a small thing, sure, that's fine. But can a computer do it? Absolutely. And how many people are really building stuff where you need that on that platform? So just something to consider. And we're at an hour and a half. All right. Okay. Last one. This is it. This is the last comment on Degen. They've been building constantly for the last year. They've been building out their ecosystem. I think they got some pretty good pumps in the last few weeks. Kind of have to see what they develop. It is a layer 3, which does get some shit from people because like, all right, did we really need to go to a layer 3? But it is an ecosystem that has been incubating other projects, especially through Farcaster. So I think there might be other opportunities around Degen, just because they're helping other projects grow. So maybe that might be the angle. Investing in the coin itself might be a little more risky. All right. That's it. So thank you everyone for hanging out. That's 90 minutes. That is a rom-com movie. You chose to hang out instead of watching that. So I appreciate you for hanging out. We'll be back next week. If you didn't like the video yet, feel free to do that. That is always supportive. This video gets 100 likes. I'll go get my eye scanned. We'll look into WorldCoin if that happens. All right. I appreciate everyone. And with that, I hope you got your full value for today.